Hello traders, this is Petko Alexandrov and I continue with the last section that we have in the Reactor, and this is the robustness testing. So as I said already a few times, what the Reactor does, it automates the whole process. We have the generator where the strategies are generated. Then if we want, they go through the optimization process and then they go through the robustness testing. And something very important to note is that when we use the optimization, any of the three, this will change the strategy that comes from the generator. But the robustness testing will not, okay? It will not change it. It will just test if it is robust. And this is possible again with three different options. One is the walk forward validation, very similar to what I have described in the previous video for the walk forward, but the difference is that it doesn't change the strategy. It just proves if the strategy is robust or not. If the result of the walk forward is worse than the initial strategy, then this initial strategy that came from the generator is over optimized. And if the strategy fails the walk forward validation or any of the other two, then we will not see it at the end in the collection. Okay, in the collection I have that strategy that I used previously to show you, but I will leave it because I want to show you how the Monte Carlo works and the multi-market. Okay, the Monte Carlo is the tool that I always use when generating strategies. So this box is always checked for me. Okay, what the Monte Carlo does with very simple words, it tries to break the strategy before we start trading with it. It runs a variety of tests. If I click on Monte Carlo, you will see that I have the option for different simulations that are separated in market variations, execution problems, and strategy variations. So how I usually use it is with the last two, randomized indicator parameters and randomized backtest starting bar. And what that means is that the Monte Carlo will perform variety of simulations with different or randomized indicator parameters, and it will simulate backtest from different starting bar back in time. Okay, so this way we will know if the strategy was optimized for the indicator parameters, just what I explained about over optimizing. Okay, and we will know if we start at any moment at any bar with this strategy, with this expert advisor, is it going to be still profitable or not? Okay, and this way we will know if the strategy was over optimized exactly for the period tested. So if I go to collection and I select that strategy again, okay, you see that it showed that it was over optimized for that period. And let's go to Monte Carlo and I will click on start. And let's see what will be the results. Here they are. And we have 19 out of the 20 tests validated. So all of these tests here are with different parameters, different backtest starting bar. One of the results is losing here. So there is a chance, a very huge chance that this strategy was over optimized. And this is because I actually optimized it in the previous video, right? With step of one using the optimizer, and we saw that it optimized it very well for this period. But then when I added previously 8 years, then the strategy is not really what we want to see. And actually I changed the data a little bit, but it's very similar. So yeah, that's the one that I have set for XN. Okay, and now I will go back to the Monte Carlo and I will tell you about the market variations. This is where we have randomized spread, randomized history data. So you can use that if you're using different historical data or for different brokers with different spread. Execution problems Well, this will be applicable if you have some execution problems with your broker. It often skips positions, or there is a huge slippage, which is not really the best thing we want to have with the broker. You can check as well the strategy with such simulations, but this is how I use it, okay? The last two. And if I go back to the Reactor and I go to multi-market, this is the last one that we have in the list, we will be able to see if the strategy that comes from the generator that passed the optimization, the Monte Carlo, everything on the top, and it reaches to the multi-market, we will be able to check if this strategy is performing well on the other markets as well. And we can change these markets to whatever we want. Usually if we are generating for euro dollar, for example, we want to know how the strategy performs on other currency pairs, okay? Not on gold or stock or oil or anything like that. Okay, so I have clicked randomly on a few currency pairs, and if I use the multi-market, it will perform backtest on these currency pairs, the same strategy, and it will validate a number of tests. So if we have like 5 here and we select 3 that are validated, it means that it will validate for sure for euro dollar, right? And then we want another 2 to be validated. Let me demonstrate very quickly how that works with the current strategy that we have in the editor. I will go to multi-market and let's change the brand to euro pound, for example, and as well I will select Aussie. Okay, and then I have Aussie New Zealand. Doesn't really matter, I just want to have 4 pairs, and I will click on start and let's see how this strategy performs on the other 5 markets. Okay, 1 of 3, 1 of 4, and we are waiting for the last one, and here we go. All the others are losing. Okay, the initial strategy for pound dollar, this one over here is profitable, but one more time I have optimized that, and I think I over optimized it. Okay, this is not like 100% event. I cannot say with 100% that I have over optimized the strategy. Okay, but from what I saw after adding the previous 8 years, that the strategy is losing for most of the time, and I see that the multi-market shows me losses on the other markets, I can say probably the best way to say it is it's most likely that I have over optimized the strategy. We cannot say it with 100%, but the chances are big. So that's why I don't recommend using the optimizer. Better to use the walk forward or the normalization. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean this is a bad thing, not at all. You just need to know how to use it carefully and what robustness tests exactly you need to perform after that to make sure that the strategy is not over optimized. Or in other words, some of the features in EA Studio are so good and the algorithm behind it is so smart, I can say, that it becomes dangerous even for some of the strategies because it finds quickly the best parameters, it optimizes them very quickly. This is the work of the optimizer, but at the same time this is risky not to over optimize it. Just like driving a very fast car, which is dangerous, right? People want to drive always fast cars, but this is when usually the accidents happen. Alright, so you need to be very careful when using it or just play more with it, see how it's working, and if you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask me. Alright, I will remove now this strategy from the collection and I will run the Reactor. This is how I set it most of the time. Usually it works faster, but again I have a few more running on the same computer, so when you run 3, 4, 5 or more, they might get slow. Keep in mind that EI Studio works on the browser, and it loads from the server the first time, and then it works on the browser. It's web-based, which gives you the opportunity to run it on multiple browsers at the same time. So what I usually do, I set one for euro-dollar, and now just next to the recording screen I have a few more for pound-dollar, euro-pound, and this is how I am generating strategies. One thing I forgot to do is to reduce the data. Okay, I will go to data horizon, and I will do it just for the last 5 years. And here we go, I will start it again. And one thing, keep in mind that the more data you use, a little bit slower it will be. The less data, the faster it will be. It's logical, right? So this is how I'm using the Reactor. If you have any questions, let me know. It's a lot of possibilities. Through the options, you can test it. Use whatever makes sense to you, but definitely it's the best thing we can use in algorithmic trading nowadays, to have robust strategies, to have many strategies. And how it works, it will generate strategies if they pass the acceptance criteria, the out of sample, the normalization, and the Monte Carlo. I will see them in the collection. Okay, so basically they will go through all of that, and at the end of the day I will have hundreds of strategies, thousands of strategies, and I will see the best ones into the collection. Okay, I will leave it now running for some time. Actually, I have set exactly 10 hours, right? And after 10 hours, I will show you what results I have in the collection, and you will see how easy it happens. Okay, I don't do anything, I will leave it overnight, and in the morning I will have some ready strategies in the collection. Thank you very much for watching. If you have found that video useful, thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to our channel, make sure to do it now. Cheers!